Hi everyone, welcome back. In this tutorial, I will show you how you can install Docker Desktop on Windows 11 operating system virtual machine. Let's begin. So first, let's verify the virtualization engine on our VM. So let's go to our virtual machine. So let's check the settings, and on the processors, ensure that the virtualization engine has been enabled depending on your hardware settings. In my case, this is virtualized Intel VT. So let's save it. And I'm going to start this guest operating system, which is the Windows 11. Let's wait for that. So let's log into our system. So before we install the Docker desktop, let's verify if the Windows subsystem for Linux has been enabled. So let's go to the control panel. And from there, let's check the programs and features and turn Windows features on or off. Let's check the settings there and let's scroll down. And okay, the Windows subsystem for Linux is already enabled. That's the prerequisite for you to be able to run the Docker desktop. So let's close the control panel and then let's start installing the Docker. So let's go to the documentation, docs.docker.com, and click the Manuals tab and click the Docker Desktop here and scroll down a bit and install Docker Desktop, and let's choose Windows and let's click the Docker Desktop for Windows and let's wait for a while. Okay, it's already finished. Yep, it's completed, and let's go to that folder and let's start installing the Docker. Click yes, and let's minimize this. Okay, it's now initializing. Okay, it says here use WSL or the Windows subsystem for Linux. So let's click OK. It's still unpacking the files. It's now installing the system. Installation succeeded. Let's close this. Then let's open the Docker. Okay, let's accept. If you still don't have the Docker account, then you can still continue without signing in. And let's choose System Administrator. And let's say local development and continue. And it will start the Docker engine. So this is now the user interface of the Docker desktop. So let's try running a sample container. So let's go to the command prompt and let's do a Docker container run -d, which is detached and IT is interactive. And let's name the sample container as sample container, and then the host name, which is the host name of the container. So let's say container host name, and then let's add a DNS resolver, which is 8.8.8, the public Google resolver, and then let's add the quad 9 public resolver. And let's add a bind mount volume. So let's add a -v and then C, which is the C drive of our Windows 11, and then backslash users, and then my user, and then the documents, and then let's check the file explorer. And I'm here, users, and the user and documents. So let's say we want to use the notes folder for this bind mount volume for persistent volume. So let's say notes and then colon, which is a separator between the Windows and the container, which is the Ubuntu container. So let's say home directory. So it means that whatever file that you add inside these nodes will be replicated to the home directory inside the container. We will see it in action in just a few seconds here. So let's say Ubuntu, which is the Ubuntu container. So it will pull the latest version of the Ubuntu image. So let's enter. Okay, it's completed. And let's check the Docker desktop and let's check the container. As you can see, the container sample container is now running. And if we check also from here, Docker container ls or Docker ps, it's the same. So if we check the container like inside the container, so let's access the container, Docker container exec minus it, and then sample container. That's the name of the container, and then let's do a bash. So we are inside the container, right? So we name the container, uh, we put a host name for the container as container host name. So this is what you're gonna see here. This is the host name. So let's verify. Let's go to the home directory of our Ubuntu and then cd home list. So there is no file here. So let's add a file, touch testme.txt, and yep, testme. And then let's go back to our file explorer in Windows. As you can see, the testme file that we created inside the container is now showing in our file system within the Windows operating system. So what if we add it from here? Let's say add file or text. Let's say uh, test2. Yep. And then if we go back to the container and we do a list, so the test2 is now showing here, right? So this is due to the bind mounting that we specified when we create the container here, minus v, and then the source, which is up to the nodes folder, and then this is the target system, the target, which is the directory of the container. Yep. And if we check the container and if we go inside the container and then we check the file system and then check the home, it is bind mount. So let's verify the DNS resolver that we specified during the container run. So let's check the resolve.conf resolve. So these are the two public resolvers that we specified in the container run. So let's check if we can go out to the internet. So let's do a dig command to, let's say, cnn.com. Okay, we are getting a response from the Google Public Resolver. So it means we can go out to the internet. That's all for now. Thank you.